Welcome to Beyond the Flightline, dedicated to flight.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Beyond the Flightline podcast, episode 3. I apologize for how long it's taken to get this show out. I've had a very busy last few weeks, though I did get the interview done a little bit earlier. It's just been the editing process and getting all the recording done. It's taken me a little while to get to. I do want to apologize to Esprit Model for how long it's taken me to get this out. And that is who I'm interviewing this time around. I'm interviewing David from Esprit Model, and we talk about a few products that they have coming out that are very interesting, and a little bit about what Esprit Model really focuses on and what their aim is in the industry. So you can check that one out. But first, we'll go into the news.
And now, the news.
All right, so for the news, I've just picked out a few quick items. I know there's been a lot that's happened in the last 5-6 weeks, but I've going to try and keep this section short, considering we had one show that was like a 20-minute news segment, and I'm imagining you guys probably don't want something that long. So first news item here is version 5.3 of the V-Stabby, or V-Bar, is now available as an update. It includes updated spectrum decoder, which is the new 11 millisecond and 20 millisecond DSMX modes, and the JR decoder for future JR modes. Offers better hovering, improved high-speed stability, improved dynamic behavior of the governor, and updated air report of the governor. So you can find that one. You can check it out online for both the PC, the Mac, and the V-Bar control panel, and get your update installed there. Probably well worth doing, because the improvements from version 5.1 to 5.2 were very worthwhile and quite remarkable. So I'm sure this is going to be quite the step up from version 5.2 to 5.3. Yuki model PQS P51 Mustang. This is from CN Development Media. This is the first kit out of the Prime Quality series, hence the PQS for Yuki models. 1.6 meter wingspan. It's 7th scale. As a plug-and-play variant, they include a 400 kilovolt brushless motor, 120 amp brushless controller, 8 servos, electric retract, so forth. You can also get it as a kit, though I'm guessing it's probably just an ARF if they're offering a PNP version. All up weight is around 3.2 kilograms, so you can check that one out in August of 2012, so fairly soon, next 2 months here. Then I've got the Black Horse Sukhoi Su-26M from Pitchler. Resembles the famous... All surfaces come pre-hinged, linkages are included, fiberglass cowls matching. It's 1.73 meter wingspan, 5.6 kilogram weight. Needs 6 servos and can be powered by gasoline or electric. No release date on that one yet, but if you look at pitchler.de, you can find out more information about that. Extreme Flight is rolling out a version of the Laser EXP. This one is a 1.2 meter wingspan and also 1.2 meters long. Designed for 4S lipos, weighs 1.2 kilograms all up, roughly. So you can check that one out when it comes out. Let's see here. There's Flyzone Millennium Master. Flyzone Acrowatt Mark II. Okay, we'll talk about this one. Flyzone Acrowatt Mark II. It's a aerosol foam. This is again from Great Plains. The Flyzone is one of their product lines, so you can check that out. It's available as an RTF version or a transmitter-ready version. So I'm not sure if that includes the AnyLink system that they're doing or not, but they're saying transmitter-ready, so I'm guessing it probably is. Brushless version, brushless motor, 40 amp ESC, one-piece wing, 1.2 meter wingspan, and it weighs about 1.1 kilograms, so you can check that one out. I think this is just coming on the market. Again, no release schedule or date on there. So we'll wrap up the news with that. This week I have an interview with, as I mentioned, David from Esprit Model. Those of you who don't know Esprit Model, it's an online hobby shop based out of Florida, which covers planes, helis, and kind of a broad spectrum of specializations within each respective type. So we'll move on to that. So thanks and enjoy the interview.
On the Flightline.
Hi, everybody. I have David from Esprit Model on the show with me. David, thanks for talking to me.
Hi, David. Glad to be here.
Now, those of you who don't know Esprit Model, they're based in Florida, and they stock both helis, planes, kind of cover a little bit of everything. David, do you want to give me a quick rundown as to how Esprit came about and what you guys really specialize in?
Oh, wow. Yeah, we actually had some very humble beginnings. We started, actually, as an eBay hobby. One of the owners here used to buy and sell a few odds and ends things for himself, and it just kept growing and growing. And then next thing he knew, he was doing this on the side for his regular, from his regular job. And many years later, I guess we've been in business 10 years now, we're here and going strong, supporting several aspects of the hobby.
So that's a very interesting beginning. Most hobby shops don't start out as an eBay store.
Well, actually, it wasn't even a regular store. This was just a personal addiction that went rampant.
That's one way to go about it. So how did you get involved with the hobby itself and the Esprit Model?
Well, I actually have been flying radio control since the late 80s. As a lot of the guys out there, my father introduced me to it, and I've been addicted for many, many years. I am actually from the Nashville, Tennessee area, so I spent several years working with Hobby Lobby, and as things unfolded, found my way here at Esprit.
Okay. What kind of things have you flown?
You broke up on me, man.
What kind of things have you flown? Like, have you been more planes, helis, a little bit of everything, or?
Well, me personally, when I first started, I had the 25-size trainer. That was the first airplane, which lasted all of about a week and a half, and then we went to a 40-size trainer and actually learned to fly with that, branched off into sailplanes, and then in the late 90s, I got the bug and started playing with helicopters. Never really flown 3D fixed wing, and hardcore 3D helicopters are the only things that I have yet to play with.
Well, you certainly covered the spectrum of it there, at least. I know I've done a little bit of helicopter stuff. I haven't done the full-on 3D stuff, but that's what's nice about this hobby. There's enough to do in kind of everything. So tell me a little bit about what is it Esprit really tries to differentiate itself with for its customers?
All right. With Esprit, one of the primary things that we do and have done for many years is specialize in electric propulsion, be that airplanes, helicopters, or sailplanes. There was a time we were primarily a sailplane store, and then electric sailplane on top of that. And we have followed the customer interest throughout the years, and as it stands now, we are actually really, really strong in electric sailplanes again, as we once were. That's one of the primary things that we sell. We have even branched out into some of the scale upper-end sailplanes.
Okay. Yeah, that's definitely a very specialized market there, the kind of larger than like 3 or 4 meter stuff, right?
Oh, absolutely. Usually things don't start getting interesting until you get to about 3 meters. But,
right.
Sailplanes are far from all that we do. I mean, there are those of us that know us purely as a helicopter store. We've stocked some of the standards, some of the exotics. Of course, our line is on the shelf. We're one of the major Kasama dealers. one of the major Century gasser dealers.
Okay, that's kind of a different one for you to stock.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's if you look on our website, you'll see that, we carry, I think at this point, we're well over 12,000 different items that we carry.
Wow, that's quite a bit. Now, you guys are also, I believe, the distributors in the U.S., or you simply distribute the Heli Command series?
We are one of the major retailers for Heli Command.
Okay.
We do a lot of Heli Command. We work with a lot of folks, help them get things situated. We've had folks that didn't even get Heli Command from us will call us for assistance. Our head helicopter guy, Danny Melnick, he is heavily involved with Heli Command.
Okay.
And there have been many folks around the country that know him by name.
Yeah, I recognize the name for sure reading around on a lot of the forums. So we'll kind of branch off here from what you guys do to kind of your general thoughts on the industry in general. One thing that's been kind of big, and you've mentioned that you guys are become known as a electric shop. What do you think about this kind of steady movement upwards in size for electric-powered aircraft, both planes and helis?
Oh, I think it's definitely a trend that we're going to continue to see. While there will be always a market for the pocket-sized, small electric stuff, the larger electrics now are coming into their own. As one of the nation's largest jetty dealers, we sell a lot of upper-end speed control, some of the BEC systems, and those guys are even coming up with a full-blown telemetry radio system.
That's quite a deal. The reason I asked this question is actually last podcast I posted, I talked to Damon, who's building a 257-inch B-36, and that's all electric. So that's what kind of brings to mind this, and also kind of the ever-increasing number of like 50cc size and even 100cc size aerobatic planes that we start to see and compete. So we're seeing kind of that change on both the heli front. We're seeing guys doing stretches out to 800 millimeters, some guys out to 1,000 millimeters. And I'm guessing you guys are going to kind of support that trend as it goes?
Oh, absolutely. We plan on following that trend. The larger is better, as we all know. And, yes, we're going to follow that as much as the technology will allow us to do. Right now, the current limit we're seeing is with the battery technology, and that is improving almost daily.
Yeah, we're starting to see more and more less expensive 65C continuous batteries. The cost is always coming down, and there's always some talk about some higher current capability stuff around just around the bend.
Oh, absolutely. And, at this point, much of that really high output stuff is still talk, but it should be really, really interesting to see what comes about in the next year and a half, much less in the next 3 years.
Yeah, I think it's probably in the next year and a half we're going to be hitting maybe 80C, maybe 100C continuous from all the manufacturers.
I think that's possible. As well as, as we all know, there have been talk of several even different technologies that have yet to be used in RC. Right.
There's definitely different chemistries that can be used that haven't been used in the RC industry, or things that are just kind of in development that might see their applications in a smaller thing like what we do before they start moving up to things like electric cars or motorcycles or whatever. So what are you thinking about? What do you think about these classes, various FAI classes that are slowly starting to have to deal with parity between nitro and electric? Are you seeing F3C, which you guys stock a couple aircraft for, start to have to deal with basically the majority of the class going electric? And the advanced.
Well, I think we're going to continue to see the expansion of electric both in the sport and in the contest world. At the last helicopter contest that I went to or was sort of an observer for, there were no nitros competing. Now, granted, it was a small contest. I think 12 people were competing here in Florida. But there were absolutely no nitro machines. All the helis were electric. And I think we're going to see this trend continue even into fixed wing, especially as the batteries get lighter and lighter.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of a lot of these categories that have things that are maybe more conducive to gassers or the other way around, more conducive to electric, are going to start making modifications to try and kind of make it an equal playing field for both. Because a lot of reasons that these competitions like the heli stuff is going predominantly to electric is because the performance is just there that the nitro can't have.
Well, I think you're right. I think in some ways that the instant performance or the instant power on tap for electric is still is an advantage. But to that end, any of the fuel burners also have the advantage of the longer they fly, the lighter they get, so the less power they need.
Right.
So I think your assessment is correct that at some point a lot of the contest rules are going to start to change so that it allows either type of power system competing on the same field.
Right, without the inherent advantages that people tend to get from one or the other. Like in the heli front, we're getting these absolutely massive 14,000 watt power systems. People are starting to stuff in some of this stuff, and there's no way a nitro can touch that.
That's right. Now, but the problem that but the issue that you are seeing with that is while you are so many thousand watts, usually that rating is an instantaneous rating. So there is a bit of an equalizer there.
Right.
The power that the combustion guys have, it's repeatable and it's continuous.
Right.
The power that the electric guys have, it's massive and instantaneous, but the sustained power levels are usually something quite different.
Right. They have to work with that slight kind of downtime between peaks there that the nitro guys don't have. They have a much more continuous feel to the helicopter as opposed to the electrics, which will have a drop-off over the course of the flight.
And there also has been a recent trend with electrics, especially some of the 700-size helicopters. Some of the guys are experimenting with ultra-low head speeds now.
Right,
they're taking 700-millimeter machines and spinning them down, 1,000 to 1,200 RPM on the head and still doing aerobatics. That's fascinating.
Yeah, an example that comes to mind of that is Timo Wendland over in Germany recently posted a video of his 3D rigid flying at 1,000 RPM head speed, and he was still doing a kind of mild 3D for about 12 minutes.
Absolutely, and this is where this is one of the places where electric has the advantage. I mean, let's see you do that with a combustion machine.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to do that because you're going to be so far out of the power band you wouldn't be able to do anything.
That's right. The equipment can't flex, and that is where electric has its strength. Is quite often you can tailor an electric to do exactly the job you need to, not almost or not really close, but exactly the job you need.
Right. You can adjust parameters. You can play with different flybarless units, different ESCs, different batteries to get exactly what you need.
Oh, exactly, and with fixed wing as well. In the sailplane world, one of the things that's really strong right now are the limited motor run or altitude limited sailplane contests, where you're putting a device in that senses the altitude, and as long as you can reach that altitude within 30 seconds, you're viable. You have a really good setup. You have just as much chance as the next guy. Right.
It's kind of interesting. For a while there, I kind of focused almost exclusively on the helicopter stuff, and what I'm noticing more and more looking at a lot of this competition fixed wing stuff is that we're getting some of the premier classes that are distinctly nitro are starting to get a lot of competition from distinctly electric classes. What comes to mind is S3D pylon racing compared to S5D. Obviously, a very different size model there, but in performances, thereabouts. So, talking about all this stuff, you mentioned the Jetty product line, which has quite a bit in the way of different ESCs that people use in these categories, whether it be heli, pylon racing, gliders, everything like that. You guys, you mentioned you guys kind of do support and sell that product line. What's kind of in the horizon for Jetty?
Oh, Jetty has some really exciting things around the corner. Most everybody has known Jetty ESCs on the market as being really reliable. They give us a 2-year warranty with those guys. They've been great up till now, but some of the helicopter guys have not had the features that they really were looking for to really dial their setups in. There is a Maison line of ESCs that Jetty is releasing very soon that should address what the heli guys are looking for. Full auto bailout, startup power, many different parameters. That can be adjusted with the existing Jetty box as well as some of the duplex technology that is being tested and certified by FCC as we speak.
Interesting. So they're going to be kind of tailoring more to the heli guys, a lot of features that they've been looking for. I'm guessing you're going to go to cover like a higher amp ESC at some point. We're starting to get a lot of these helis that are looking for 160 amp, 200 amp controllers that will support 14S LiPos.
What we're hearing from Jetty is that, yes, eventually that is the plan. Their first ESCs, they're going to hit the 2 main sizes that we're seeing now. They're looking for 85 amp and 120 amp up to 12S setups existing. But, yes, they do have an eye on the larger cell count systems, as well as one of the main things that they've done, and they've really tried to get input from us and a few other people, is to really tailor these ESCs to what heli guys need. They've pretty much got the airplane world down pat. But now they're starting to give some attention to us, to the heli guys, so that we can have something that's reliable that we don't have to worry about. We just go fly.
Awesome. It's good to see another player in the market there, because at this point we just kind of you've got Castle, you've got Contronic, which is a little bit more of an expensive line. YG started to make some impact, so it's good to have another kind of right around Castle price level competitor.
Absolutely. Now, and another thing that Jetty is really working on is they have recently developed a 2.4 gigahertz radio that has fully integrated telemetry. They're already in use in Europe, and this is another product that is undergoing FCC certification. We hope to have it on our shelves very soon. But essentially, all of the receivers in this system can have sensors plugged to them so that you can get several different operating parameters, from how many milliamps you've used, to temperature, to airspeed, to even altitude, and many other things.
Now, is this something that will be basically a live display on the radio, or would it be something that somebody along the way could do recording of the data if they wanted to?
You can have it all ways, because they are working on, already have released 2 different types of transmitter, a tray-type transmitter that the European flyers are more familiar with, and then a handheld transmitter that us Japanese and American pilots are used to seeing. As well as, there's another option. They have a box that will essentially act as a duplex module with an existing transmitter.
Interesting.
So that's very exciting. You'll now have a box that you can use to program and or record data from your ESC, as well as use it to receive real-time feedback.
Interesting. So it's going to be, is it going to basically be a plug-in module for a lot of these module-based radios like the JR line of radios, Futaba, and so forth?
Well, no, that's the beauty of it. It's actually not a module. It's a small box that will connect to your transmitter through a trainer port. And I blew that. I'll start again. It's actually a small box that will connect to your transmitter through a trainer port and give you the full display of all the sensors that you have plugged onto your aircraft.
Really? That's interesting. Now, you mentioned that records off to like an SD card or a micro SD card?
Actually, no. It records into the unit itself. There's no need for an SD, because you can then connect the cable from the unit to your PC and download all the data that you've collected.
Awesome. That's extremely helpful.
Absolutely. We're expecting great things from this. And some of the testing that we've been involved with has looked very, very encouraging.
So you mentioned that Jetty's got 2 radios along with the box we just talked about. Kind of what specs are we looking at for that? Number of channels, features, so on and so forth.
Well, actually, the Jetty radios are full 16-channel systems.
Wow.
With the ability to move just about any function to any switch or button.
Huh.
We have been very impressed with these systems. We first showed them at the Toledo show. So if anybody was there, they may have had a chance to play with one of these systems and see just exactly what they'll do.
Interesting. So, and then obviously they'll have a line of 16-channel receivers available at the same time as released for these.
Well, not only will they have the upper end or high channel count receivers, they'll actually do more affordable, fewer channel receivers so that they're smaller. You can get them into smaller aircraft. They're a little cheaper, so you don't have to spend mega bucks on every aircraft. So, yeah, these guys are really trying to hit all the basics.
That definitely sounds like it. So are we looking at kind of the same price range as what Spectrum's hitting right now, kind of in the real mainstream radio line?
The figures that I have heard, while pricing is not finalized, the figures that I have heard are $14.99 for the 16-channel system.
Okay, that's a pretty good price for the unit with that number of channels. That definitely puts it kind of right there around the 12X and way below the 18MZ.
That's right. And unlike some of the Spectrum and or Futaba systems, these are not 8 or 9 channel based systems with expansion. This is a full 16-channel communication.
Awesome. That's definitely an improvement. And a lot of guys who are concerned about resolution, speed, and everything like that, it's going to be much better for that.
Yes. So far, these are looking very promising. We will post specs and information as it's developed and as things are changing. Because, like I said, these things are we're still working with the FCC to make sure that they're happy with what we've got.
Okay, so more specs basically closer to launch. I'm guessing the usual support for standard aircraft, helis, and then glider settings as well?
Absolutely. You'll get the standard stuff that we're used to seeing, as well as, unless you have been in the hobby long enough to have flown some of the older multiplex systems, not since those guys have we seen the flexibility of channel assignment versus switch or knob.
Right, the old
Royal radios are good, but they just can't do exactly this.
Okay, so it's going back to the features of the old Royal Evo and Profili series and whatnot.
It's picking up some of that.
Okay. Well, neat. I'm looking forward to getting a look at these, and not much larger than your usual radios for the handheld.
No, the handheld is actually quite nice. We were pleasantly surprised. Their tray radio, for those of us with larger hands, could probably be flown as thumbs only, although it wouldn't be as comfortable as what we have now.
Is that going to be a summer release, or what's kind of the timeline on that?
Yes, we are expecting a summer release of that. There again, some of the time frame is out of our hands, but yes, we are primed and ready for a summer release of this product. Okay,
I've just pulled up a picture of the tray radio, and that's a very impressive looking unit.
And you'll notice that they use a lot of aluminum in this. This is a solid feeling piece, but yet it's not as heavy as some of the old radios of the 90s were. Right.
It definitely looks very solid. And it looks like there's going to be a pretty good sized battery in there as well.
Absolutely.
It's definitely good to see a good sized battery pack inside a radio like that. Because I've noticed as we've moved to 2.4, the battery life of these radios has kind of shot down.
Okay. Yes, we've been very pleased with some of the testing results that we've gotten so far on runtime. That's still, I don't want to put any numbers out there yet because that is still something that they're tweaking, but that is a very big concern of Jetty's is that you don't have to spend your time at the field charging your transmitter.
Awesome. Well, that's definitely very thankful from my end on them focusing on that particular specification. So I think we'll kind of wrap up the interview here. David, thank you very much for talking to me. I really appreciate it.
Well, David, it's a pleasure as always. It's always good to speak with you.
Yep, an absolute pleasure. And everybody, go and check out Esprit Model, ESPRITMODEL.com, and check out the new product line, their product lines, and also keep an eye out for the new Jetty radio and ESCs.
All right, thank you again, David, for talking to me and spending so much time giving me kind of some insight on the new products that you have coming out, like that Gropner radio line that he discussed, which should be very interesting. Again, the web address for Esprit Model is ESPRITMODEL.com, EspritModel.com. So check out their website. They have some really neat stuff there. I think we'll basically wrap up the show at this point. I'm hoping to have a couple of reviews for you guys coming up in the pipeline here somewhere. I just want to get a little more flight time with what I'm working with, so you can keep an eye out for that. Also have a charger I just bought that I could review. Probably do that as well. So for getting in touch with me / the show, you can email me, dicey@rcflightline.com. I try and check that email as much as I can. It goes to my tablet and phone, so it gets to me right away. You can also follow me on Twitter. It's still at RCFreakPodcast. Hoping to change that one a little bit here, but for now, that's still the address. You can also find me on a variety of forums, including rcflightline.com, Heli Freak, Runrider, RC Group, Swapflyer, RC Universe, Extreme Flyer, and a few other ones I'm forgetting in there as Dicey, except on RC Universe, where I'm Pattern Dreamer. So thank you, everybody, for listening to the show. Please go check out rcflightline.com. They're writing some very interesting articles that they're posting up in the forums that you should check out. And otherwise, everyone have a wonderful week and a nice weekend of flying. And I should be talking to you in about 2 weeks. Bye. And a quick additional note, I'm still looking for a co-host for the show, so please get in touch with me if you're interested, or if you know anybody who might be good for the job. I know you guys probably get sick of just listening to me talk, so thanks, and have a good one. Bye.